Hello, welcome back to our channel. We are Nicole and Mico. If you caught our last video, you will know that we have started the South America leg of our adventure traveling around the world. We started in Buenos Aires last week. Today we have made our way north to Iguazu Falls.
We're going to be exploring the falls today, and while we do that, we're going to give you as much information as we can so that you can plan your next visit here to Iguazu Falls.
Okay, so the first thing you do when you get here is get on the train. You can walk, like everything here in Iguazu Falls on the Argentine side, but easier because you do a lot of walking anyway, to grab the train. We're gonna head to Devil's Throat on the train, which is the first stop of our day. So the train runs all through the national park here, just as like a way to help you kind of get around, because it is actually humongous here on the Argentine side. So it makes two stops. The first stop is to the sort of lower and upper trails, and the second stop is the one we're going to be getting off at, which is Devil's Throat.
Now we head to the Garganta del Diablo.
Garganta del Diablo. It sounds so nice in Spanish.
It's also worth noting that we are now in proper jungle forest because it is so humid here, dude. The jungle forest.
Mico earlier was like, what's the difference between a jungle and a forest? I don't actually know.
What is the difference between a jungle and a forest?
Now you're just calling it all one. Jungle and forest? It's just a jungle forest.
Jungle forest. So the first part to Devil's Throat is through this walkway, which is super cool because on the map, we could see that there's a path leading from like the mainland to the edge of the waterfall, but we had no idea how you would get there because there's no like land. And we imagined there was some sort of walkway, so I guess this is what that walkway looks like. Just like that. And it's very slippery.
And it's about, I think it's about 1 kilometer long. It's quite a little walk.
We're not even at the falls yet, but I feel like this is already worth the money to get.
All right, so while we make our way to Devil's Throat, I want to tell you guys a little bit about how we got here. So from Buenos Aires, we took a bus. Supposed to take 18 hours. It took 21. It cost us 10,800 pesos each for like a lie-down bed, they call it. The alternative was a flight, and for us, the flights were getting really expensive just because we were booking like a couple of days out. But if you are able to plan ahead, it would be convenient to fly. It is a very long bus ride. So the bus took us to Puerto Iguazu, which is where most people base out of to come and view the falls. There is then a bus that you can take. It just takes like half an hour or so from Puerto Iguazu for 700 pesos to come to the falls. So that's what we did this morning. The first bus left at around 7:20. We got on that bus, and that gets you here in time for the gates opening, which is at 8 a.m. And the last bit of information that is useful for you to have at this point, I think, is that it was 2,800 pesos each for us to get into the park, and that is the cost for a foreigner. There are different prices depending on where your passport is from, but I think we paid the highest price, and it is 1,000% worth it. We're not even at the falls, and look at this place. Amazing. Look at that right there. It almost looks like smoke, but that is mist from the falls. I think we are about to get drenched.
I think it's also really deceiving because it's so calm here. Like the water is so flat, and then just on the other side of that, you could hear the waterfall and you could see the mist. So yeah. I think it's about to get really violent as we round the corner.
Holy smokes!
That's beautiful.
So I'm feeling super lucky because I was nervous that the watercolor right now would be like muddy, because I've seen lots of photos online and the watercolor is like almost like an orangey brown from all the dirt that comes in with the water, but it's so like clear and green right now, and it's so beautiful. So I think January and February are high season. We're here in February. I think that's a really good choice.
Swap to the GoPro because it's gonna get a little bit wet. That is a waterfall.
Oh, I want to get my phone out, but I don't think I can. That is so cool.
It's actually so beautiful. Like the grand scale of it is just hard to wrap your head around. And then when you look at the individual falls, like down over there, it's just such a gorgeous like display of nature.
Holy smokes! Hey, you know what's so cool about Iguazu Falls? It is the widest falls in the world. Not the tallest, That one, Angel Falls in Venezuela has. But the widest and with the most falls in one spot, there's like 275 of them here.
There, I count 1. I think that's like a whole one, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5.
Just a few more down there. Just a couple more down there.
Oh my goodness.
God. That was a little wet. Okay, so Devil's Throat is amazing.
100% worth it. That was so cool.
So good. That is
It's
just
massive.
wow. Although it got super busy, so I think we kind of booked it there, but then we ended up pausing along the pathway and like taking a bunch of photos, and I wish we hadn't. So if you're coming, just book it right to the very end and get some shots there, especially if you come first thing in the morning before all the tour groups come, because they are coming in spades now. And then on the way back, I'd say take your photos and your videos that you want. We are now going to we're gonna grab the train again, head down to the first station so that we can there's a couple of trails down there to some more waterfalls, so we can kind of get right in the waterfalls.
So because Iguazu Falls is so wide, you can't just see it from one vantage point. So when you come here, you'll actually get a lot of different options to see many different parts of Iguazu Falls. Earlier we were at the Devil's Throat, and that's a great way to see one of the biggest parts of the falls. But another way to do it is to take a walk along these other circuits that are in the area. So right now we're on the lower circuit, and that's gonna take us to a couple different viewpoints. And then later on, we're gonna try out the upper circuit as well.
All right, so we had such a busy morning. We really haven't told you a lot about Iguazu Falls. Iguazu Falls is sometimes considered one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, but for the most part, it's not on the official list. It is also 80% in Argentina and 20% in Brazil. So you can visit from the Brazil side. We're not doing that today. We hear that the Brazil side has excellent panoramas. That's where you get the best panoramic views. But here on the Argentinian side, you get some of the best views sort of down below. You get to see a bit closer up the various falls.
So we made it to one of the viewpoints of the lower circuit, and it's phenomenal. You can get a good view of where we were earlier at the Devil's Throat, but also you can see many more waterfalls that are still forming a part of Iguazu Falls. So you could see from here just like how many different waterfalls there are, and I heard in like high flood season, it could be like basically with one big waterfall, which is nuts.
So we can see some little like dinghies, like boats from here, and you can like hire a boat and go with a bunch of other people like into the falls and like get drenched by the waterfalls. I don't know where exactly they take you, but we'll try and find out what the cost for that is. It's not something we want to do today, but we'll put up on the screen if we can find out what the price is.
It's scorching hot. Nicole and I have found some shade under a tree on a bench, and it's nice to just sit here and admire the beautiful waterfalls. And it's also really cool because on the right-hand side, we're looking at Argentina, and on the left-hand side, on the other side of the Iguazu River, is Brazil.
Okay, so we started with the lower circuit or lower path today, and because it's said to be the harder one, there's like more stairs and whatnot. It didn't seem that bad from our experience, but we chose to do that one in the morning when it's a little cooler, and we would recommend that. That's probably a pretty good route to do because it is getting hot. What did you buy?
Okay, it's so hot today, so I couldn't help myself. Everybody was walking around with this. It was about 400 pesos, and it looks like just like a Slurpee.
What flavor did you get?
I don't know.
Yellow. Yellow flavor.
I think it's like peach or something.
How much is the water?
This bottle of water, 600 milliliters, is 300.
Wow.
Yeah, which is pretty pricey, but it's ice cold, so it's kind of nice. But this is good. And that is massive. I think 2 can share. Cheers. we're stopping for lunch, and in typical Nicole and Mico fashion, we've got tuna sandwiches. It's not that you can't get food here, it's just that they're a little bit pricey.
Yeah, I think we saw that like a hamburger is like 11 or 1200 pesos, and then I just saw that you can get a hot dog for like 650, or you could get 3 empanadas for 500. You can also pay, I think, Visa, MasterCard, and you can pay like US, Real, and I think Euro, but they're not giving the good exchange rate here, understandably. So, yeah, so just come prepared for that. Warm tuna sandwich. A hamburger would have been yummier, but this was a lot cheaper.
35 pesos. We are done lunch and we are heading over to the upper circuit, or the upper trail. While we were eating, we actually saw quite a bit of tour groups. I imagine that you would learn a lot from the tour groups, but if you're on a budget, I think it's totally doable to do Iguazu Falls without a tour guide. There's lots of trail signs and markers, and you even get a handy map. So if you are looking to do Iguazu Falls by yourself, that is something that you could easily do without a tour guide at all. So we've been walking the upper trail, or the upper circuit, for a while now, and it seems like the trail just goes through like multiple drop-off waterfalls in the area. So I think this would be a good trail if you want to be at the top of the waterfall and always kind of looking down. And we're also now walking closer back towards the Devil's Throat, and seeing a few more waterfalls that we never saw down there. Circuit.
Yeah, I actually think I prefer the upper circuit, hey?
Yeah, it was way nicer.
It is beautiful to be down, like low down, but kind of being just on the top of them was really, really awesome.
But you could easily spend like a whole day here, a couple days here, easily.
Well, we spent a whole day and we haven't done anywhere near the whole park. So you actually can get your ticket, like, I don't know, verified or stamped or something on your way out, and then come back for half the price the next day. So if you have that kind of time, we would suggest you do that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool here.
But I think we'll end it off there.
We've had a really full day. We are hot and sticky.
Yeah, I hope you found this video very informative, and it'll help you plan your next trip to Iguazu Falls.
Yeah, we will catch you in the next video.
Thanks for watching.
Welcome back to our channel. We are Nicole and Mico. I forget what I was going to say. So as we make our way to Devil's Throat, we're going to catch you up on how we... Stop! He's doing circles. It is so beautiful, like so beautiful here. That's what he's doing. Not distracting at all. Whoa. 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 What happened? Shoom, shoom, shoom. There we go. Are you ready?
Yes. I realize you're talking to me.
Who else am I talking to?
I thought you were talking to yourself. Or to you guys.
Camera. Let's go. Beep. This is the end.